Appreciate y'all for tuning in. But before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel so you get a notification every time I go live or drop a video. I appreciate it.
Are you all right?
Where are you guys at?
Now we get to the breaking news update we told you about at the top of the show. We're digging deeper into the body camera footage obtained overnight showing the moments before, during, and after Chicago police shot a 13-year-old boy.
Now, we covered this story when it first happened back in May in the South Austin neighborhood. CBS 2's Marissa Parra is live in the newsroom. And Marissa, you've been on top of this all morning long. There's been a lot of new developments these last few hours, though. Walk us through that.
And Ryan, since we received the videos overnight, we've heard from the attorneys on both sides, including the attorney of the officer who fired the shots, on what the officer perceived in those crucial moments before, during, and after. We want to warn you, however, some of what you may see is disturbing.
On the night of May 18th, you can see officers chasing the teen in Chicago and Cicero, running at a full sprint towards the gas pumps, followed closely by the sound of multiple gunshots. These are videos from body cameras worn by other officers involved in the chase. You can see in less than a second, it appears that the teen starts to turn, arms slightly raised, before he collapses to the ground. The officer who fired the shots didn't have his body camera turned on until after the shooting. His attorney says it wasn't intentional, it was a, quote, high-stress situation.
Cell phone, secure the area.
That same attorney says the officer thought the teen was turning to point a gun, only to find out it was a cell phone. An attorney for the family of the teen says the 13-year-old was trying to put his hands up. Chicago police had been following the car the 13-year-old was in because Oak Park police said the car was tied to a carjacking in Oak Park the day before, one that left a 3-year-old girl in danger in the back seat. She was later reunited with her family. But the next day, license plate readers tipped off police that the same car was passing through Chicago. And as police tried to pull over that car, the 13-year-old jumped out. In a lawsuit filed against the city, the teen's family attorney claims the boy was unarmed at all times and that the officer still shot him in the back, leaving him currently unable to walk.
Now, regarding that Oak Park carjacking investigation that led to all of this, the teen's attorney says he has not been charged with any connections.
Well, what are they asking for? They're asking for lots and lots of money to take care of this young man for the rest of his life. They're asking for damages with respect to his care. He's going to need nursing care 24/7 from today to the day he dies. Pain and suffering, medical bills, all those things are being asked for. But what's interesting is they're also asking for punitive damages against the individual officer, saying that he acted willful and wantonly in firing a gun and hitting this kid in the back. And for that, for punitive damages, that doesn't come out of the city's pocket. That comes out of his pocket if, in fact, there's a judgment on a punitive damage count.
An unarmed 13-year-old, Audrina.
Yeah, and Irv, one of the things that we talked about is, you've seen the lawsuit now, we've seen the video. What is your legal opinion on what we saw based on is the officer negligent or not in that shooting?
Well, if any attorney is going to look at this case and try and analyze what is good for the city, what's good for the victim, who was at fault, if anybody, and any lawyer that I suspect knows what he's doing is going to look at this and say, boy, I think the city's going to have a tough time with this one. This is a shooting that's very difficult to justify in any manner whatsoever. The young man was unarmed. He was running away, but he turned, he puts his hands up. Is there a reason why this officer had a fire gun? Was the officer justified in shooting? Was he acting in self-defense? And this video that you have today, I think, when I look at it, I can't say at all that this was a justifiable shooting, because what he saw, which was portrayed on this video, doesn't establish that.
And that 13-year-old has not been charged with anything as well, right?
From what I know from very reliable sources in the criminal justice system, there have never been either an arrest or a charge against this young man from the day it happened until today.
And we've seen cases like this before, and they were resulted in millions of dollars. This is money that the city would have to pay. So what do we expect to come next in this case?
You just saw a graphic of the 8 different points of what the family is asking for to take care of this child for the rest of his life. Well, like I said earlier, pain and suffering. My guess is they're going to be looking for millions of dollars on every one of those 8 different factors, because this child is going to need a lot of care in the future. And if the city's responsible, it's the taxpayers that are going to pay for
Minimum $8 million, and if you're saying $1 million each, but it's going to be much more than that.
It's going to be much more than that to take care of him. 24-hour nursing care, medical expenses, pain and suffering. It's just going to add up. I mean, you need an adding machine to try to figure it all out.
One last quick question. The fact that the officer didn't turn on that body cam footage until after the shooting, what impact will that play?
You know, I don't, in this particular case, since I think the circumstances, the facts are so evident, I'm not sure that's going to make a difference, with one exception. He violated police department policy in not turning it on right away, and that could be a disciplinary issue, which is the least of his problems.